about is not a new story to our area. I think it goes back to 2009, 2010. The residents of Riverview opposed the rezoning of a lot of land that saw a 3-story apartment go up in the McAllister Park area, corner of Pine Glen, Pinewood. The residents of that opposed that. Last year, the residents of Dieppe and the Fox Creek area were opposed to a rezoning of a lot of land that saw, I believe, a supermarket and a car wash. It's supposed to go up at the corner of Dieppe Boulevard and Yvonne. And now it's happening again in the Moncton area, and we have the group Stop the Rezoning. They're here with us now. Andy, Quinlan, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thank you very much, Denis, for having me here.
Our pleasure. In these situations in the past, it's like I said, it's nothing new. We're seeing it all over again to a certain extent. So I'm happy you're able to come in and chat with us a little bit. Let's give the people an idea of what's going on for those that might not be aware. What is being proposed here, and give us a sense of what part of town it's in.
Yeah, so what's actually being proposed right now is a commercial development. It's north of Highway 2 on Mapleton. It's actually the corner of Mapleton and Queensway. And what's currently being proposed is to turn R1 and R2 zonings. And I think there's 4 parcels of land there. Give or take probably 13 and a half acres is my guess, somewhere around that. And basically what they're trying to do is rezone that to highway commercial. And the way the city is getting away with this is that they're stating that the property can be rezoned highway commercial because it's near the corridor into Moncton, so it's near the Trans-Canada Highway. The problem is how the city is going about the rezoning. And the biggest issue for the residents there, and we've been out canvassing the area, I've had the opportunity of going out with my entire family, and the 2 kids that we have are they're activists through and through, so it's nice to see them out there talking to the neighbors. And the astounding answer from the community at this point in time is that no, we don't want this development here. There are huge safety issues around this development, and the City of Moncton doesn't seem to be addressing these safety issues and the infrastructure issues prior to recommending the development for approval.
And this is on Mapleton Drive, and it's once you go past the highway. It's a really nice residential area. I've been there in the past, and the road kind of ends too. It is kind of a dead end at the end of that street. This would happen. Would it be across the street from the hotel that's there as well?
It's kind of kitty corner from the Hampton Inn and Suites that's there right now. And when that particular hotel was built, there were certain recommendations that were made, particularly involving the fact that if there was ever a fire, if there was ever any type of disaster, if there was any type of multi-vehicle accident at the corner of, let's say, Queensway, for example, in Mapleton, where the traffic was blocked off, there's no escape route for any of the individuals north of that area. So we have 2 subdivisions in that area, along with the residential properties that are actually on Mapleton. So my question to the RCMP, the question to the fire department, the question to Ambulance New Brunswick is, how do you get your emergency vehicles into that area if the road's blocked off? How do we as residents get out of that area if the road is blocked off? My understanding is that this area is an evacuation route for all of those homes in that area. There's no way around it. That's how we have to get out of there. There is no secondary route. And back in 2007, that was addressed by, I believe it was the fire marshal, I believe, maybe, or fire commissioner, maybe I should say. And it was never addressed. And back in 2007, actually, a lot of residents, I think 5 or 6 residents that were pretty outspoken had sent a letter on behalf of the community there, requesting basically a moratorium on future development in that area until all of these issues were fixed. And that letter kind of went unanswered. And I sent a letter of that letter to the City Council, and I have that posted on our Facebook page, which is Stop the Rezoning. Right. So if you guys are interested in getting involved with stopping this process, please.
We have that up on the screen, actually.
Yeah, please.
Just search for that on Facebook.
Yeah, please join up and fight the cause, because as I was mentioning to a lot of the residents in the area as we've gone around getting petitions signed, is this isn't just a Mapleton issue. This is happening all around Moncton with rezoning, basically by putting the cart before the horse. Rezoning with safety issues not taken into account, the process behind it not giving our residents enough time to even research the development to make up their own mind.
Well, let's chat about that for a second. Because
Sure.
you said that you actually had a chance to sit down with the Director of Urban Planning for Moncton, Bill Budd.
Yep.
So tell us about that conversation.
So that was a very, very interesting conversation, and I can tell you my side of it as far as how I felt the conversation went. And it kind of seemed like they were trying to whitewash a lot of the issues that I was bringing to their attention. They were trying to cite different things in the municipal plan that were giving them the right to do this. And one thing that never came up was, let's talk about what the residents want. And I met with Bill Budd on June 23rd. I think it was 3 days after the official announcement at City Hall that this development was going to happen. And one reason that Bill Budd wanted to meet with me was because prior to June 20th, prior to the actual announcement, I had received an email that said that I had the opportunity to go to the announcement and we could pose inquiries or questions about the development at that time. To me, it was very, very important for the councillors to understand that there were people in that area that were not happy with this development, and I went there for that particular reason. To me, it seemed, or at least how I perceived the situation, was that once I actually arrived at the meeting and they were aware that there was somebody there that was going to object to the development, they stopped us from being allowed to speak. And I couldn't actually say anything on record. If you go and watch the Rogers video of the actual City Hall meeting, you'll see where I interjected and interrupted the City Hall meeting to make sure that the councillors understood that there is somebody in this neighborhood that is against this development. And if there's me speaking out on it, there's many, many, many more residents that have the same feeling behind it.
Sure.
So when I met with Bill Budd, one of the things that I found really, really interesting was, one of the things that was said was, we have our letters prepared for the residents to be made aware of this development. They also told me that those letters weren't going to be sent out until July 5th. So this was June 23rd, they had the letters prepared, and they were waiting till July 5th. The reason they're waiting till July 5th is to ensure that residents don't have enough time to research the development and make up their own mind as to whether they want it. The city wants to push it down your throat.
Because it seems like they're going to be putting it to a vote around July 20th. Is that
right? July
the time
20th
frame?
is
So this is pretty tight.
It is, because when you think about it, first of all, even June 23rd, we were aware that Canada Post potentially was going to be striking.
Sure.
July 5th, if you're waiting till July 5th, let's even assume that the Canada Post does not strike. Well, July 5th comes, we mail out the letters. I'm guessing 5 to 7 business days before you receive them in the mail. That doesn't give homeowners enough time to actually digest what's in these letters and possibly even read the letters, but certainly not enough time to research the development and come up with their own opinion. I think that the City Council has to understand that they're voted in to talk on behalf of or to speak on behalf of the citizens, the residents of Moncton. And why we're following absolute bare minimum requirements on making residents aware of this situation is beyond me. It should be, let's give the residents more than enough time to think about this, to digest it, and we want to hear from our residents what their concerns, what their objections are, because perhaps we can find a happy medium in there. It shouldn't be, let's find a way to slide this development in without anybody knowing.
Absolutely. Have you heard back from any councillors? Have you spoken to any councillors at all?
Well, that's a really interesting question, because I haven't. And I've been very, very vocal, so I've been on a few different shows, a few different interviews I've done. I've sent letters in, and no, nobody has contacted me to say, let's talk about this, let's find out how we can go about making this development work. And, to be honest with you, the way that you can potentially make this development work is fix all of the infrastructure issues, fix all of the safety concerns that we have. We have the traffic study that was presented to the City of Moncton during the proposal to rezone this neighborhood or this area. And one of the astounding facts that came from this traffic study is that the intersection at the Highway 2 and Mapleton, that intersection is operating at an F level. That's, at least in most issues, coming off of certain lanes, there's waits at times of 420 seconds. That's nearly 8 minutes. And I don't know if you've sat in your car for 8 minutes before, but there's a good opportunity that you're going to try to jut out in front of traffic just to make the wait end. And the problem is this is going to create accidents. I drive that every day, and I've seen so many near accidents. The city of Moncton knows that it's unsafe. They've seen the traffic study. Bill Budd himself, during our conversation on June 23rd, agreed he wouldn't let his own daughter walk down that street because of safety concerns. He's said as well that he is aware that that intersection is dangerous. The traffic study also states that we're going to be allowing 5,000 projected travels of that road every single day. 5,000 more trips in that area, and we don't have the infrastructure in place already to handle what we have there.
Listen, less than a minute left, 30 seconds in fact. Thank you so much for coming in. I
No
wish
problem.
you all the best of luck on this. Search on Facebook, Stop the Rezoning. Make sure you check that out. I'm with you. I think elected officials should speak for their citizens at the very least, and I really hope that you hear from a councillor and it's tough to see business get kind of put in front of taxed residents.